Hi, this is Greg with Lionquestfitness. Today we're going to talk about the bill drill. 6 shots from the draw in 2 seconds. That's the gold standard. And whether or not this drill is really applicable to training for self-defense. Let's talk about it. First though, let's look at what gun we're shooting today. In a Harry's holster. Inside the waistband carry. Hey, he's a nice guy. I like Harrison's videos, and he had asked me if I would field test, some of his holsters. I've been taking my time with it, mainly waiting till summertime just to kind of see, when I am dressed more casually to see how they work. Well, anyway, this is a Taurus 85, one of the last ones made, and of course it's stock except for these grips right here. And it's not the best gun to use for a bill drill because you can't reset the trigger. You have to make sure that that trigger goes all the way back, because if you don't, it'll jam up the cylinder. Now, one other thing I need to say, 5-shot revolver, all right, with this Taurus. But this is the size target that you use. And I can already see somebody, well, I can do 2 seconds in the bill drill, 6 shots with my 9. Well, this is the first time I've tried it with a revolver, and this afternoon, this was my 5th attempt, in practice. And, I have limited experience with the bill drill. Day before yesterday, I did it with a semi-auto, and I actually got it down to under 3 seconds. And, more practice I do, I probably can get it down even more. But anyway, let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of the bill drill. Now, some of the disadvantages that I see with the bill drill. Number one, you're assuming that you're going to be in a situation where you're going against somebody one-on-one, almost like a Wild West gunfight. There may be other assailants. Are you going to spend 6 rounds on one assailant when there are other people? Now, another thing, you're standing flat-footed. Most self-defense situations are and we're not talking about just firearms. We can be talking about knives, clubs, other instruments. It's all going to be close quarters and very dynamic. And that's why I tend to practice, and that's the way I do things, with movement, side to side, front to back, because of the dynamic nature of most self-defense situations. In fact, Claude Warner has come to the conclusion that most citizen defenders operate between a 4 to 12 foot distance. Reach out and touch somebody. Another disadvantage I see to this drill, it sets a very unrealistic bar for most people. 2 seconds, 6 shots from the draw, small target, 7 yards. Now, there are people who can do that. I do not deny that. There are people who are very good at and skilled at this kind of shooting. And one of the things that jumps out at me when I see videos of this being done, number one, full-size duty weapon. Number two, modifications to the gun. At the very least, modification to the trigger and the barrel. Number three, they're shooting low recoil ammo. Let me show you how this works. Okay, day before yesterday, it's the first day I ever tried this drill. And after my 5th time, my 4th, 5th time, I started getting it down to under 3 seconds. But here, if I just said that, you'd be like, okay, man, you're going to do so good. Well, now, look at this. Look at these little holes. That's 22. All right. I didn't have to tell you that part. And what I was doing was using this Taurus TX22. And my last string, I got down under 3 seconds. Probably get it faster if I continue to work at it. But my next step is to go to 9mm with a stock Glock handgun. And I'm sure I can get below 3 seconds, maybe close to 2, but we'll see. So anyway, smoke and mirrors. You don't always see what you think you're seeing. And let me leave you with what I think is the last disadvantage of practicing this type of speed drill. And that has to do with deadly force and the use of deadly force. You know, as a police officer, I was trained to only use the minimum amount of force necessary to stop an attack and no more. And that's the same standard for a citizen defender. When you train your reflexes, you train your fine motor skills to shoot that fast and that much, you have to ask yourself, are you training yourself to shoot somebody to the ground or to stop a potential attacker? Now, that's not to say that there's not ever instances where you're going to need multiple shots to stop an attack. That's something you need to think about. Now, as far as the bill drill for a competitive shooter or for somebody who's highly skilled as some type of goal to set, it can be a good thing. Bill Wilson has actually done a bill drill too, and Bill Wilson was the man who came up with this drill, but there's a bill drill too that he developed that is much more applicable to self-defense shooting. And I'll put a link down below to that video. And this is Greg with Lionquestfitness.